Many viewers asked me what happened to the Honda XR650L. Now I sold it, and in this video I explain why. Hi, I'm Francois from adventurebiketroop.com. Now, if you've watched the channel for a while, you'll know that I've had the Honda XR650L, and that's possibly one of the reasons why you are watching the videos and following me, and I really appreciate the support. And I always love the comments, especially on the Honda XR650L. But in this video, I'm going to explain why I sold the Honda and got myself two of these Yamaha AG200s. It's the cousin of the TW200. It's got the same engine. It's only available in the hemisphere where the toilet flushes counterclockwise, the southern hemisphere, most countries, Australia, Africa, and South America, and New Zealand. So why did I sell the XR650L? Now, I love the bike, and you can check out the playlist. I've got a playlist on the XR650L, and you'll see the love, the hate, the ups, the downs of the XR650L over the last year. But there were a few things that always bugged me about the XR, and you'll know from my videos where I compared it to the KLR. I've had two KLR 650s in the past, a C model and an A model. And I always missed the KLR when I spoke or thought about the shortcomings of the XR, even though it's an awesome bike, especially for dirt riding. Now, one of the first things, and an obvious thing, is the tank size of the XR. It's only about 10 liters or 2.8 gallons. It's quite small. It's not ideal for touring. Well, it's actually horrible for touring. You need to fit a bigger tank. And where I live, that would mean quite a big expense to import the tank. It's not readily available, and I'll also have to fit luggage racks on the back of the bike, brace the subframe. So for any kind of touring for more than a short weekend with a backpack, there's quite a few modifications that's needed on the XR650L. And on the KLR, you already have a rack, you already have a 23-litre tank that can take you 450 kilometers or 250, 300 miles almost. So that's what I love. My KLR was also much more fuel efficient than the XR650L. So I was actually planning on buying another Gen 1 KLR. I had one lined up. It needed a ring job, and I thought that would be perfect for the channel. The KLR has a big following, similar to the XR650L, maybe even bigger. They just launched the third generation KLR. So I thought, well, having a KLR again, I could do almost exactly the same as I did on the XR. It's got a lower seat height, so in the tough stuff, I'm not that long. I'm 6 foot. The XR was quite tall with its 37-inch seat height, so I had to tiptoe it. And you know from some of my videos, I always drop the bike in slow riding when I have to turn it around because my left leg is fully extended. So on the KLR, even though it's heavier, it didn't feel that much heavier because of the lower seat height. And I think I would go almost... In most of the places where I can go with the XR650L, you can go with the KLR at my skill level. But on the tar road and long distance, the KLR is just miles ahead. So that was the first consideration. The modifications that I had to make on the XR650L to get it up to the KLR's touring ability was just too expensive. And the XR650 was in a great condition. It was quite a new bike. Well, for me, new. 2012 was new for me. I usually ride older stuff. Whereas if I sold it, I could buy a KLR, a Gen 1 KLR, for half the price, and then have money left for a dirt bike to play around here, and practice my technical skills on a much lighter bike. So the KLR just made a lot of sense. So I had this KLR lined up. I was ready to pay it, and then the paperwork wasn't correct. There was something wrong with the title or the registration. A day after I bought the AGs, I actually had a phone call from the guy that sold the KLR that said, no, the paperwork's sorted out now. So I nearly had a KLR, and I might still get one in future, but more on that later. So back to the XR. Another thing that bothered me was some starting issues. Every now and again, if I left it for 2 weeks, it wouldn't start. I suspected the CDI because a lot of people complain about it, and I thought, nah, it's one of those internet things, hypes. And it was, so I cleaned the terminals, then it would start again. Or I smacked the CDI, then it would start again. Then the pulse generator read nothing. I made a video on that. And I cleaned it and it started again. So it was quite intermittent, which was annoying. But in the end, I swapped out the CDI for a new one. Let me just increase the light. In the end, I swapped out the CDI and it worked fine. But the problem is to find parts where I live in South Africa. You have to wait 6 weeks for Honda. It costs more than $200, where in the US you can get it for $100. So everything is just more expensive, less readily available. The last time they made or imported the XR to South Africa was in 2012. So for me, it just didn't make sense. There's a lot of KLRs and they still sold it until 2018. So there's a lot of parts. It's more readily available than XRs. So I got a good price for the XR as well, because they are quite sought after and not they're quite scarce. So in the end, it came down on the one hand to financial considerations. On the other hand, I was quite limited to what I can do with the XR. All the camping spots are quite far away to reach, so I would have had to modify the bike and to spend more, and then I have the similar bikes. So another consideration was biking is a hobby for me, and I do try to let it pay for itself. It's not there yet, the channel is still quite small, but a year ago when I started it, I would never have thought I'd reach 2,700 subscribers in a year's time. So thank you so much for the support, I really appreciate it. And for the XR fans, please stick around. I might get an XR650R one day or a 600R. With a YouTube channel, it helps to make different types of content, and I know I've got a lot of XR fans, which I'm sorry to disappoint in this video. I can't limit, the growth of the channel is limited if I stick to one bike. So the question then is, the KLR was a popular choice and I didn't buy it. I bought this AG, which is not available in the US. So what's up with that? I think the main reason, the real reason, is because I'm just super impulsive. I really don't think things through. But here's my reasoning. So the KLR was set up to buy. The paperwork was not correct. That evening, now I've already sold the XR, I got a deposit, so I thought, well, I've got the cash, I need to buy a bike. The KLR was a once-off deal. It was very cheap because of the ring job that it required. So I couldn't find another KLR for a good price where I had some spare cash to spend on upgrading the bikes. So I went online and I saw 3 of these AG200s. And I've been looking at TWs, but they are so hard to find. People don't want to let them go, and I understand why. But anyways, this shares the engine of the TW, so it's an ag bike, an agricultural bike. It's still sold new in the country, similar to the TW. So parts are available. It's cheap. It's easy to fix. It's easy to work on. And for me, I've been looking at a slower bike, because riding a slow bike fast is always more fun than riding a fast bike slow. Just holding back all the time. So for me, with limited off-road skills, this is awesome way to build up my skills and confidence before I get a bigger bike again, and also to work on the bikes. I'm a very amateur mechanic. Everything I've learned, I've taught myself, breaking things and trying to fix it myself. And one thing I've always wanted to do is strip a bike completely to the frame, paint the frame and rebuild the whole thing so that I understand where what goes. Now, if you have 2 of the same bikes, it's so easy, because you can just strip the one bike and you've got a reference in the other one. The other thing is, with making videos, I can film the one that I'm taking apart and still film the one that I'm riding. Whereas if I did that with the XR, I would have had to film the build and then not be able to ride, or the other way around. So this way I can keep riding. Another thing is, we're not new to small bikes. We've toured around South Africa for 3 weeks, 6,000 kilometers on 2 125cc Chinese delivery bikes. And then 2 years later, my wife and I went from Cape to Cairo, 9,630 miles, so 15,000 kilometers for 3 months on 200cc Chinese delivery bikes. So these small bikes are just perfect for that type of touring, and we want to do that again. And I want to get my wife riding with me again, do some trips, some camping trips. So that is hopefully also on the cards for the channel, and these bikes are just perfect for that. Oh, one other thing, an awesome thing, is because I've got 2, once I've rebuilt or stripped the one and built it back up again, I can keep one standard, because I like the idea of original bike, and it's also worth more when you want to sell it again. So I can restore the one, and the other one, this one with the pipe and the bent forks, I can mod for more spirited riding and see if I can eke out a bit more performance. So there's 2 types of restorations or builds that I can do. One that is more customized and one that is original. And I'm always torn between the two. Even with my Land Cruiser, I never know, should I keep the original because there's something pure about that, or should I mod it because it's just fun? So now I can do both. So in the end, I just love anything with wheels. I love trying out different things, sometimes to my own detriment. That is the main reason. Hopefully soon I'll get a big adventure bike again. I have a plan in mind, which I'll share at some stage when I'm ready. But thank you so much for the support over the years. Thank you so much for my XR650L fans. I really love all the comments over the last year. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.